Good evening. My name is Njoki. I attend the University of British Columbia in Vancouver. I thought it would be interesting to start by taking us on a short journey to our past. Are you ready? Okay. Let's talk about breakups. Yes, you heard me right. I'm talking about past relationships. But I want us to consider a specific aspect of the whole picture. That one person that we still think about today. You know, the one that we convince ourselves we are so done with, but somehow they end up taking most of the room in our minds. The one that makes us think, would I be a different person today if I never went through that? The one who clouds so much of our present moment, we are convinced that the breakup actually never happened. Well, now let's talk about Africa and its own breakup story. Africa's breakup story is more or less just as tangled. The thing is, we are breaking up with our past. But the problem, as you may have guessed, is that we keep coming back to wallowing in this what ifs. What if we were never colonized? Where would we be? What I'm saying is that, yes, Africa is moving forward, but seemingly so on crutches that we have built on accumulated pain because of this history. We're not simply learning from our past, we're using our past to detrimentally justify our present. It is important to acknowledge your history, but as long as you constantly keep defining your present to be a result of your past injuries, are you actually heading anywhere? Naturally, there is so much more than everything that came with the scramble for Africa. There is more history to that. For example, how many of us here can say we know more of pre-colonial kingdoms and dynasties than we do of who colonized whom? Yeah. I am not suggesting that we wipe evidence of colonialism clean, nor should we be forced to forget the pain and the loss. What I, however, have come to observe is that intentionally or unintentionally, we contort this past to serve as an excuse of our present struggles and the outcomes. And what saddens me more is that it's as though we are awaiting this perpetrator to undo their wrongs, as though there is enough compensation that could suffice for the pain and the brutality and the loss. So I must applaud those who always do their best to bring positive change technologically, economically, academically, politically to our beloved continent. Those among us who have learned from our past and are putting the efforts that we have into unchaining our communities from modern-day oppressions. Those of us who understand our privilege and responsibly using it to enable others to access the resources that we have. Those among us who understand and honor the sacrifices that we have to make in order to be active participants in the successes of Africa's next generation. Africa is a jewel, as often said, but its worth is paradoxically disregarded by its own owners. We fail to see the treasure that we are and the treasure that we have. But once we fully comprehend what it really means to be enough just as you are, then there is no need to gain approval. Just knowing that you are enough is itself a revolution. And if it is the least we can do, we must learn to guard our worth, to identify ourselves as Viola did, as confidently as she could, as an African. To identify yourself as an outstanding innovator, as a radical artist, as an exceptional student. Of course, international trade, international relations are crucial. But when it gets to a point where your development, your resources, your life is in the hands of others, then independence becomes an illusion. Foreign aid is not something that we are meant to fully rely on, and it is not compensation for any form of injustice. Collaboration is good, but dependency at this level is dangerous. We hold so many of the solutions to our problems, and we must learn to be brutally honest with ourselves. What barriers have been set in place that are impeding our progress? Not only by others, but also by ourselves. Again, there is nothing as powerful as the conviction that one is enough just as they are. So my dream for Africa is that we will realize and claim the power, the genius, the wealth, and the force that we already are. I wish I could answer this question. Why are we so tragically chained to our own history? I'd like to call on to the spirit of the late Professor Wangari Maathai, the first African Nobel Peace Prize laureate, who said, "You cannot enslave a mind that knows itself, that values itself, and that understands itself." Thank you.